Good afternoon. Welcome to Jim Munley's World of Weather. Click on to the long-range weather forecast discussion for January 31st through February 14th. For the February 31st, first of all, I want to talk about the system that'll be affecting parts of the east over the weekend. And we're going to go to the maps right now. Let me see. This is the model solution, and I'm going to show you the spread on the system. We go forward ahead. Okay, now here's the system. Whoops. Here's the system developing in the Gulf. And then it's 7 p.m. on Friday. Then we go to 1 a.m. on Friday. Now it's kind of closely clustered here. We have a system, along the Mid-Atlantic coast. Cluster's pretty good there. And then we go to 7 a.m. on Saturday. And now they're clustering across this area here, even to off south of Long Island, off of Cape Cod. It brings it further out. And there's still a lot of questions of what's going to happen. You even see, they even have systems down here. And then we'll go to 1 a.m. on Saturday. Now look at it. Look at it. There's still cluster here. You see this. These are the members of the European, and you can see it develops a system 996. I think that's the deepest I see, 993, but further to the south. But this is where it's kind of like sunning around this region here. And then we'll go to 7 p.m. on Saturday. Still near the coast, along the coast, still all over the place. So there's not really no clear consensus of what this is going to do. Now we'll look at the other maps. Okay, this is the GFS. We'll go to Friday. Here's our system developing here off the Carolina coast. This is Saturday, 7 a.m. And then it goes rapidly out. See, this is the GFS. And we say goodbye. Then we look at the European. Brings it off the Carolina coast. And then it moves out. Okay, now we're going to look at the other one. This is the Canadian. Off the Carolina coast, and this is the system that brings it closest to us, to the Mid-Atlantic coast. And then we'll look at that's Canadian. This is the NavGem. Also a little closer, like the GFS. And here is the NAM, which only goes out to 48 hours. But it's further out to sea here. So still, this could still change. It doesn't look as promising as it did yesterday, but we'll still see. We still have some time over the next couple of days. Okay, now we'll go look at the period for January 31st to February 4th. And we have a ridge of the Eastern Pacific that builds into the west. And trough will move eastward, and there will be a trough in the east that pushes into the western Atlantic later on in the period. Heights remain below normal across Greenland. Above normal heights forecast over eastern Canada. You see it right there. Miles of good agreement. So we will have, we're going to go back to these maps, a series of Pacific systems that will move into the northwest and combine with orographic lift and a fetch of deep moisture that will bring heavy precipitation to the area. The activity will spread into the northern and central Intermountain West as energy rounds the upper ridge that's set to build in advance of a trough passage early next week. This will favor overall, you can see, let me go back to this map here. It's a little a cyclonic flow across much of the east central states. Okay, so I talked about what's going on there. Now we're going to look at the period from February 5th to the 9th. And a ridge forecast of the eastern Pacific into the west. A trough of the northerly flow is forecast across the nation. You can see it right here. You go to the 9th. So for this forecast period, I am forecasting above normal temperatures here, and I'm forecasting anomalies of 2 to 4 inches, and then below normal temperatures are forecast here, but the anomalies are 2 to 4 inches below normal. For precipitation, precipitation forecasting below normal precipitation here, probability of occurrence 35 to 45%, and then we have above normal precipitation forecast for this region, and the probability of occurrence is 35%. Now there's some discrepancy in the models and other things I've been looking at. All the models are showing this: a broad cyclonic flow, deep ridge here over the eastern Pacific, and we're starting to have above normal heights that begin to move towards Greenland, but then they kind of like seem to back off. So there's a tendency for warming here, but for now I'm going to call for this period, I'm going to call for, you can look here, calling for above normal temperatures here, and I'm forecasting anomalies at 2 to 4 degrees above normal, below normal temperatures here, and I'm forecasting anomalies at 2 to 6 degrees below normal, subject to change. And for precipitation, calling for below normal precipitation for this region, probability of occurrence is 35%, and then above normal precipitation forecast for this area here, probability of occurrence 35 to 40%. That's the long range weather forecast discussion for January 31st through February 14th. Thanks for coming, Jim Only's World of Weather, and have a good day.